Hello, traders and traders. Welcome to another episode of our free Zoom and our free education. And this will be posted live on the YouTube by 7 a.m. GMT later on in the morning. So welcome to today's Zoom, and basically today we will be looking out for why do trend lines fail. Trend line is a style of trading very common to new traders looking to navigate their way in the financial market. So they tend to begin to test some basic strategies such as support and resistance, trend lines, and other strategies. But for support and resistance, these are the very basic strategies traders use at the start of the trading career, because these are the information that have been put out there for you to make use of. Now, do you think the banks, the big banks, and the big institutions just come to the market and trade off trend line? Well, if you think so, today should be a day where you should take that off your mind and begin to think what actually drives the market. Fundamental actually drives the market. Events actually drives the market. Economic events actually drives the market. So you don't just think a line being placed on the chart is what actually drives the market. Trend line is a very, very common technical tool used in the world of trading, but the chart goes beyond trend lines. And sometimes you tend to use trend lines and still see that I'm not getting it. So why do your trend lines fail? In the basics of Forex trading, you've been taught that two touches make a trend. The third touch confirms the trend. That means if I should locate these 2 points, I've got a trend, then extending my line, the third touch confirms the trend, which is an uptrend right here. Then the same thing is being said in the downtrend. 2 touches makes a trend. The third touch confirms the trend. Now, but we were never taught a scenario where we have something like a trend line being drawn, and then we'll get a first touch, a second touch, a bounce off, we'll get a break of the trend, you get something like this, you get this again, and if you should want to begin to place trend lines, you see yourself placing multiples of trend lines on your chart. So why do trend lines fail? Do price react to trend line? No. That's the first thing you have to know. Price doesn't react to trend line. Price react to areas of supply and demand. Price react to fundamental events. The institution know areas they would love to react from, and that is what they do, not just based off some trend lines, based off some technical chart patterns. The chart is way beyond technicals. The chart is 80% fundamentals and 20% technicals. The technicals is just to help you react to the fundamentals that has been released. Now, some of you will say, okay, so I can't make money just trading technicals. No, not at all. I'm not saying that. You can make a whole lot of money trading just technicals, but you have to have at the back of your mind that this is not what drives the market. So in trading technicals, you need to have at least a glimpse of understanding of the fundamental aspect of things. Even if it's not an in-depth understanding, you just have to know that, okay, fundamentals actually runs the chart. Fundamentals actually cause price to move the way they move. And then if you should set up yourself up for this kind of trading, in the long run, you'll be successful and you'll not be falling into the technical traps of trend lines. So why do trend line fail? Right here, I'll be placing some trend lines on the chart and I'll begin to see why trend lines fail. Now, right here, we had this move right here. Okay, I think I should take this down. Right here, we had this move, and we had this move. We had this move and several down moves, down moves, down moves, down moves, this impulsive, this move, this move, this move, this move, and this move. So the chart has actually been in a consolidating phase, uptrend, and this. Now, why do trend lines fail? We'll begin to take several scenarios of where trend lines has failed, like from this point to this point. The basic rule is 2 touches makes a trend, the third touch confirms the trend. And right here is a downtrend, so we're taking it from above. It's a downtrend that we're taking it from above. Now, how do we tend to explain that this trend line got broken? This trend line got broken and price managed to come inside here. And how do we explain what happened around this point where price shot aggressively above the trend line and dropped down before going higher, impulsive, higher. So how do we tend to explain this? This is what I'll be looking out for today on the chart. So right here, taking this scenario, we could see how this price moved from here, made this first touch, we had the second touch, and now we could see how price gave us this first touch, this second touch, and so many retail traders would have been anticipating the third touch around here, then having their stop losses all around this point. And you can see how price broke aggressively, did a retest on the trend line as if it wanted to go, and then dropped. These are the manipulations the institution tend to use against retail traders, because when you trade the market from just a technical standpoint, from just a retail standpoint, you tend to get trapped around this. Now, the uptrend line has been manipulated. If we should connect the down one, I would say, okay, this one, this one, this one. Now, how do we tend to explain what happened around this area? How do we explain what happened around this area? Now, remember, when we had this touch back on the trend line, price moved upward. So many people would have been waiting for price to get to this area here. If I should extend my trend line, some people would have been waiting for price to get to that area, to this area right here. So they're going to react for them to go down. But no, price shot up, broke the trend line aggressively, went up and came back. Now, when price came back to the trend line, so many people started seeing this rejection. We also had this bullish momentum there. Price closed in a bullish way, giving us a confirmation that, okay, maybe we are about to go up. And don't forget, this trend line is extended to this point. This trend line is extended to this point. So you can see how price came, had this bullish daily candle, and the next thing we noticed was price dropped again down right here, also clearing the lows of, or clearing the lower trend line. Now you can see how this place has been manipulated. See how that place has been manipulated, how the up was manipulated, the down was manipulated, every area was manipulated. So is it that we're going to keep placing multiples of trend line on the chart? That means, is it that we're going to keep doing something like this? We'll place the first one, or let's start from here. We'll place the first one here, then we'll come right here, place another one here. Your chart will just be messy. This shows you that the chart goes beyond just trend line trading. The chart goes beyond trend line trading, because if we are to place this, so many people would have actually called this how do we explain this, that price broke through the trend line and actually went lower? And how do we explain this, that price actually broke through and went lower? And how do we explain this if we are to mark out another trend line from this point right here? if you are to mark out another trend line from this point right here, how do we explain that price broke through this trend line, that price broke through the trend line, price broke through this one, actually dropped, price broke through this one and went lower. Each time price manipulated the trend line, it went lower because we are actually in a downtrend. Now, how do we explain this? This tells us that trend line is just a line drawn by you, and the institution don't know about it. Fundamentals don't know about it. The market is just going to do its thing while you stay there and keep drawing trend lines that were made out of nowhere. Now, if we should look at the chart again from this aspect, right here we've been in an uptrend. We can select a trend line. This is 2 touches. We've got a trend. We can select right here also. We can select right here also. Now you just see how your chart is just going to be filled with various lines that actually mean nothing to the chart, that actually do nothing on the chart. This is why trend lines fail. Some people would have come to this point and be like, okay, right here we've got a daily trend line. We've had this touch, we've had this touch. That means we are expecting price to do its thing and then come back here before we go up. Well. You might say it has been working for you, but that is not the right way to trade. There are so many ways to trade, but we've got the right ways to trade, trading like the banks, having an idea of how these guys move their money, how they allow the market flow from one point to the other. And I bet you trend line is never a prerequisite in their trading. Trend line is just something that was invented by some master traders and think, okay, we can share it. And since the institution knows that if we share this very cheap stuff to the populace and we'll be able to get them. That is why about 95% of traders tend to lose money, because they're all doing the same thing. And you can't keep doing the same thing with the multitude and get a different result. You have to change your mode of approach on the chart. You have to look for something that is way better. You have to look for something that is real on the chart, something that is working on the chart, other than just using a line, just an ordinary line that we tend to give meaning to. So with this, I hope you've actually seen why your trend line fail, because if we should keep going back into time and keep drawing trend lines from different points, keep selecting points, you're going to see at some various points that manipulations occurred on the trend line, because the institution actually know what you are doing. So right here, we saw how this price moved away from here a little bit. And then if we're to keep connecting trend lines and keep connecting trend lines, you end up getting into trades at the very, very wrong time. You end up getting into trades at the very, very wrong time, and you begin to see trades hit your stop losses before they actually fly in the direction. So this is what I have for you today. Right here, we could see we had this first touch, we have the second touch. We could see how price came here. Price came here and danced on the trend line, danced and finally dropped. Why so many people would have been expecting just to short from there and they would have got themselves burnt. Price came here, wasted time a bit here before we actually saw it prepared and before we saw that drop. So with this video, I bring you to the end of today's Zoom why trend line fail. See you in the next one. And if you really want to have more in-depth information concerning the chart, do well to connect with Trade House. Send us a message and we can get you plugged into the system and actually reveal some of the nicest way to trade and basically the way we approach and trade the financial market. Do have a great day. Don't forget to make use of the like button, subscribe, use the bell. turn on your post notification so that you'll be notified whenever we upload a new educational video. And also make use of the comment section if you want us to answer you. If you have a question that you want us to answer, make use of the comment section. And don't forget to be on the Trade House free group. To have a great day ahead. The market is closed now. Use this opportunity to rest, back test the chart, and get prepared for next week. Gracias. Peace.